Hi there everyone, welcome back up to the loft here with Weir Yard, and today I'm going to show you how to do cobbles, more importantly inset those cobbles around track. I've got a quick and easy method and I want to share that with you because I think it'd be quite useful, so let's get to it. This is the product that I'm going to be using, and this is the Metcalf Models MOO51, otherwise known as MOO51, and it's their cobble sheets. They come printed onto thick card, and they're slightly embossed. They're really good, and I can recommend this product as being really easy to use and useful. This is the area that I'm going to be laying the cobbles. Ultimately, it's going to be the shed area for the layout. I haven't got a shed, but what I want to do is to cobble all of this area, and as you can see the track is curved here and there. It's very irregularly shaped, and normally if you were trying to cut out cobbles the more conventional way, it'd be really tricky to do. But I've got this technique and I'm going to share it with you, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I've got all these scrap bits of balsa wood, and I want to bring the ground level up to roughly level with the tops of the sleepers. So that's going to be the first job. It's pretty rough and ready. You don't have to make it fit perfectly, but I'm going to get on and I'm going to cut this up with, it's actually pretty easy to cut it with a Stanley knife, and then I'm just going to glue that in between the track, just any old scrap bit to bring that track level up. Now this is really just any old scrap bit. You can use card as well if you've got some thick card going spare, and what I may do as well is use some track pins just to hold this down for the glue to set. It doesn't have to be neat because all of this is going to get covered by the cobbles as they go in. So I'm literally just cutting off bits here and there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this to follow some of the track. What we're up to now is we've got the balsa wood, just rough scrap bits of balsa, just roughly cut to fit between the track, and as you can see the glue makes it bow a little bit, so just to help it stay in position whilst we continue the work. I'm just going to put a few track pins in, just one in each corner is more than enough, and it'll just stop this bend that's creeping in because the glue is making the balsa expand on one side. So I'm going to get on and do that. Get all of these just loosely fixed in place, and then we can move on to the cobbling stage. Well, out of the pack we get two different types of sheets. You'll see sheet A and sheet B, which gives you a lot of scope for doing either back alleys, narrow roads, or big yard areas like we're going to do. So what I've done is I've cut some of the edges off. So I've now got prepared 3 big sheets, and that's going to cover me for pretty much this entire area. Now one thing to watch out for is where you have 2 sheets butting up against each other, make sure that the pattern matches, otherwise you'll have a join that is very visible. So just make sure you get these the right way round. My next step, and this is where it's a little method that I've worked out over the years, get a wagon that's been running around your track, so it's ended up with slightly dirty wheels. Put it on the track and run it backwards and forwards a few times, and then do that on the other track as well. What you're doing there is just putting a layer of slight dirtiness on the tops of the rails, and this will become apparent as to why shortly. Well, I'm going to start down at this end because I'm going to build these up to the buffer stops. So first things first, work out roughly where we want this. Any bit of the balsa that peers out the side we'll be hiding with ballast, and decide where your top is, and then push down on the track so you can feel the rail top through the card, just that edge, and then what you should end up with is a line in the card. And what we're going to do is we're going to very carefully, and my eyesight is not what it used to be, so pardon me whilst I take my glasses off. You're now going to very carefully cut along that line. And it doesn't matter if your track is curved or straight. What will happen now is we've got a perfect edge to follow of where the rail top is. So just cut that along there all the way to the end. So you may have wondered about running the wagon up and down on the track, and that is really just to get that slight bit of dirt on your rail head which leaves a dark line. You can also use other things, like you can use a felt tip, a pencil, anything like that. All you're wanting is that slightly dirty line, and that gives you your guide. So now that piece of cobbling will fit snug to the side of the rail. And what I'm going to do now is just start gluing these down. And again, if you find that the edges curl up a little bit because of the glue, we can use track pins to hold that in place. But we'll just leave that for a moment. And then what we've got now, where we cut along this card, that becomes a perfect fit to the inner rail edge. And we repeat the process, carefully lining this up so your cobble pattern matches. And then once that's in position, we're pressing down and getting that indentation where the rail is. And then turn it over. You can see that line. Now you've got to remember, on this one it's very important, cut to where the inside is, because the rails have a thickness, and if you don't cut it right, this will end up being ever so slightly too thick to fit in between the rails. So what I've done here is I just run a little bit of the PVA along the sleeper tops, and making sure you get this the right way round, line it up, and what you'll find, just get that pattern to match. You can now push this down and it becomes a snug fit into the webbing inside the rails. And what you'll end up with is the rail top proud of the surface, so the flanges on your locomotives and your rolling stock can run nice and smoothly down there. They're not impeded by the card because it's actually below the rail height by more than the depth of your flanges. And that fits in there perfectly. And again, take that piece of card, and what we're doing next, pushing it up to the rail on the inside, making sure that that's in the right place, and then the next rail along, pushing down, and it's that indentation that we're looking for again to give us the mark that we're cutting. And then it's just a case of rinse and repeat, making sure you get that line, cut it out, glue and fit the next piece, and then working your way through the sheet. And then once that first sheet is done, we get the next sheet and we repeat that process, and we end up with nice inset track that trains will run on just fine. And even if you've got some quite tight curves in there, and even point work as well, you can fillet it around them with remarkable ease. It doesn't take a lot of measuring. As you've seen, not even bothered with a ruler. You don't need it. All you need is that slight bit of dirt on the rail tops, and the job's a good one. So I'm going to crack on with this. I'm going to get this all done, and then I'm going to show you how the finished product works at the end. And I think you'll probably agree with me that it's a pretty good effect. So let's crack on. Well, you can see here, if you get this problem, which is where the glue is just causing the card to bow whilst it's wet, you want to just hold it in place. All I do is get some spare track pins, find a convenient spot. These, if you're really worried about them, you can take them out afterwards. It really is just to hold this whilst the glue dries. So I've already got a couple in there, and I'm just going to put one in each corner on the main sheets, and then I'm going to move on to the next sheet along. But already what we can see is that this is coming together quite nicely. Well, here it is. We've got the 3 sheets in, trimmed at the end. Just had to trim a little bit there. But you can see that even with the curved track, there is no obstacle to getting this inset track to just fit perfectly. Now, I've got these little track pins in just to hold it. If you're not happy with them being there, once it dries, you can pull them back out. Or a little bit of weathering as well will hide all of those. And the plan for this area is that at some point I'm going to get a shed, and the shed will just place on top. You don't even have to cut out around the buildings. It'll just look great first time, every time. So there you are, quick and easy pro tip on how to lay inset cobbles around even the most complicated of track. Well, I hope that was informative to you. Don't forget to like this video and share it too. And also subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. And ring that bell and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk. It's been great having your company. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now. Today's video has been brought to you in part thanks to the generous donation of my fans on Patreon. And a huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Mark Anthony, Michael Churchwood, Bob Threeton, Alec Ralph, Anthony Hunt, William Wade, Wayne Johns, and Offshore Alan. If you'd like to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Jennifer Kirk. Thank you. Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knobty Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.